All right. Evening, everybody. How you doing? All right. So we are back. Again, this is Rodin, and we are back for Eve Station Trading episode 57. All right. Oh man. So what I hear is there was some big fights last night while I was in Spanish class. That was awesome. Man, them big tie-dye fights, boy. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's not my thing. It's not my thing. All right, new follower, Duke 2. Awesome, awesome. All right, hey, this is our second stream with INN. So we always start off with reviews of last week's calls. So that's what we're gonna go over right now. All right, so from last week. Let's see here. X3N says 1,000 people fighting Titans, 2,000 people fighting login screen. No, bro, that ain't me, man. That ain't me. That ain't me. I appreciate the big fights and all that stuff, but it's just, dude, I can't. Them tie-dye fights, I just don't find any enjoyment in it, man. I've done it a couple of times, obviously. Like, everyone has at one point, if you've ever been in nullsec. It's just not my thing. It's really not my thing. Alright, from last week, we called a buy on Excavator mining drums. Let's see how that looks. So 922, okay. Called it at a buy, still a buy. Alright, let's go back 7 days on this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The bottom of the Doctrine hasn't changed that much. I'm almost certain I preceded this call with it might go lower. Even if I didn't, you'd still be pretty good shape, assuming you caught it at the bottom end of the Doctrine channel. Alright, so we got the mean price below the 5-day moving average, below the 20-day moving average, and the Doctrine channel is now starting to touch the 900 mil mark. Dang. Let's see what's the history like for this item hitting the 900 mil mark past the last 6 months. It's historically not there. That's interesting, actually. But if you can get as close to the 900 million ISK mark as possible, you're definitely going to be in good shape. So historically speaking, it's unlikely they'll actually go below the 900 million ISK, at least as a steady price action. So that's good. So with that, I mean, so in 7 days it didn't bounce back. I think that was pretty odd. That's a pretty reasonable response. I wasn't expecting it to bounce back in 7 days, to be honest. Some things that are expensive, like the Excavator mining drones, tend to have price actions that run a little longer, closer to 30 days, typically speaking. So yeah, you wouldn't have lost money. You just would have been in better shape attacking it now than last week. So so call. Alright, our next item to review, Crystalline Carbonite. Alright, just started to go sideways, that's good. Let's see, let's go back 7 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow, okay. So the 150. Yeah, it's sitting right on it. Let's see if that's actually flippable. 155 to 165. I think I'm almost certain last week was flippable. 6% before taxes. It's alright. I probably wouldn't flip it. Not with that kind of range. I'd definitely try to capture it as close to 150 as I can. That'll be the sustained low point within the last 90 days of this item. With the war or the conflicts picking up and war and all that good stuff, things getting destroyed. Yeah, it's just as far as the carbonites are concerned, that's actually not a bad play to capture it at the 90-day low. I can't imagine it actually going lower now that all these losses have already been incurred. That'd be kind of crazy. Unless it's would it get lower? Someone's gonna have to basically press the wrong button for that to happen, I would imagine. Even with the thanks for following, Zofeo. Even with all that destruction, and even if the materials that are coming from people's caches start getting produced into things, yeah, I don't think that's gonna. I think this is a pretty legitimate bottom for the crystalline carbonites in the last 90 days. Could call it buy. Didn't bounce back. That's okay. Wasn't really expecting it to bounce back. Again, these items, longer price actions. I wish it bounced back. That would be nice. All right, last buy to review, ceramic fibers. Wow. It's kind of creepy. With all that volume, it didn't jump that much. Okay, so let's go back 7 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So when we recommended a buy on this item, it was super flat. Now it's picking back up. So that's like what, 550-ish? But then it shot up in volume on the last bottom, and then it started going up. The bottom of the Doctrine is still pretty established, but the top end is reaching out a little bit more. I'm not sure this is a full-on reversal. I don't think so. I think it's just an expansion of its trading channel because of how tight it was. That kind of wasn't reasonable. I'm guessing someone made a really big buy and people started following, and then now it's reverting back. I'm not sure if that was a profitable play for that person, but let's see how it actually is priced right now. 557 to 597. Nope. Definitely not flippable. Seven % for taxes. How much volume? Maybe. I wouldn't flip it now though, because the last mean is getting back to where the moving averages are meeting. I'm definitely not comfortable buying into that now. It feels like the buy opportunity was right at this very obvious bottom. I think the bottom is still pretty established. I just don't think you have that much room for it to reach 600 consistently. Not yet. Maybe over the weekend. Maybe. Depending on what's happening. Or depending on what the reaction is as far as what people's material caches are. But that stuff's probably never gonna, at this point, it's probably not gonna make it to GDAT, to be honest. People are gonna start building. Zofel says, I think it's too flat to invest. I agree. It'll probably go lower. If it does, If it does go lower, it's a reaction to cash out to get ISK, right? It would have to be. It would have to be. If I was sitting in a bunch of ceramic fibers, like I'm not just gonna dump it in Gina. I wouldn't dump it in Gina. Hey, Sir Angel, what's up? Gina Alt says, I think the data's a bit borked. Look at the 15th on the table. The 15th. I mean, the date, the 15th? No, show table. Where do I, oh. On the 15th. That's a tight high. 602, 629, 628. Like crap. Can you guys see it? Okay, guys, you see it. 110 orders, 33 mil quantity, low of 602, high of 629, average 628. Wow. Check this card. The links. Give me the links. Oh, counter argument. Counter argument. I love it. I love it. Awesome. Let's see how it develops, but I have a hard time believing it's gonna go low. But if it does, maybe a little further from us. I just don't see people cashing out yet. I really don't. People are gonna make stuff of this. Rarely go through this view actually. Sort by date. Whoa, what's up with that? 557.89 for low high average. Get out of here, man. Get out of here with that noise. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Sounds weird. Sounds weird, man. Good catch, good catch, good catch. I definitely would have seen that in the graph. Interesting. Thank you. I tell you that the data's bored. The data's always bored, right, Rebra? Alright. So, yeah, I just don't think it's gonna go down. Not yet. It's gonna take a lot, man. It's gonna take a lot to bring that sucker down. It's gonna take a big sell-off from probably just a handful of sellers, to be honest. Zofil says, I apologize for not, but what is borked? Borked just it's not correct. You know, it's not correct. That's all it is. Golem 1 says again, I think to speculate on that is not a good idea because the volatility is too low. Alright. And next. So we call that, wait, hold on. We called that as a buy. Cheapest for the last 90 days. We can catch it at the low end. You can't have a VNI BPO, man. Sorry, Angel. I don't think you can. I don't think it's ever existed. Has it? I don't think so. BPO. Alright, let's check out our cells. We call the Caldari Navy medium shield extender for cells. I love these things, man. It's still sitting on its high trading channel. This is where the turnover of the tiers probably would have happened as far as how it started affecting the buying and selling of Eldari Navy medium shield extenders. It's still at a high trading channel. I'm okay with 14. That's 14 change. That's actually quite... That sounds just about right, actually, the last time Eldari was in this predicament. So, yeah. Sounds about right. Pretty steady. Steady trade average. Trading range, rather. Next item, Scorpion Navy issue. Scorpion Navy issue, man. It hits so hard. Still a sell. It's establishing a trade range now, though. We'll see how it keeps up. It's probably, I imagine, it has to correct somehow. It doesn't take much for it to correct anyway, with a daily volume of tops 12. Crazy. Oh, Chitam asks, any suggestions to get started trading? Be mindful of what you buy and sell. If you know a product or a set of items that you buy because you're a mission runner or you're a Gnostic person or anything like any kind of activity in the game, start off with what you know, and just think about the how does would it be profitable to buy and sell that item? What do you have to do to produce this item? Will selling it be profitable, or is there somewhere around that production assembly line where I can make a profit? Something like that. A lot of times people ask those questions. I'm not sure if you guys are expecting a linear answer. The Pro Berts, thank you for following. All right. Because give yourself time, some room for creativity. There's definitely room for creativity in trading in markets. It's an open world out there, man. Thanks for following, guys. Senadrilia and Chitam, appreciate it. All right, Scorpion Navy issue, still a sell. Volume's not changing. People are just, it's just more expensive now because of the way the LP works. Yay, faction warfare. And our Chitam says, what platform do you recommend? What do you mean by platform, Chitam? Our next review would be Integrity Response Drones. Zofa says, biggest turnover nowadays, I think, is Astero. Man, I made so much bank on Asteros, man. So much bank. Mostly used and lost within the Abyss. Oh, makes sense. Oh, wow. Good. So we call this as a sell. Let's go back 7 days on this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, the graph adjusted because of how the moving average values are very, very different now. Okay. When I call this, it's probably somewhere around, it looks similar to this area right here. It's just going through a correction. So this probably would have been only possible during the day that we streamed, and maybe the following day after that the sell call would have been most appropriate. So it's one of those things, guys, with these live shows. Sometimes we experience the swings immediately, or not necessarily immediately, but soon after we call it. It's just one of those things. Jim says Ameritrade or wherever else there is. I actually use TD Ameritrade, like in real life stuff. I actually do use TD Ameritrade. I used to use Scottrade, but then they merged with the company, so I'm using TD Ameritrade now. I like it. It's not bad. It's cheap. Alright, so those are all our reviews from last week. Nothing too crazy. There was not a lot of volatility. The calls that especially for the buys, they remained mostly as buys. There might be a better opportunity this week as far as their current price as we're seeing it now. But nothing too crazy. Sells, same thing. There's probably not going to be because of a lot of action that happened in the last 7 days, and through yesterday to today. There's a lot of people probably just not engaged in the market right now because they're actually out and about shooting stuff and experiencing big fights. So it could be that too. All right. All right, so overall, pretty happy with our calls. I don't think anyone would have made bunch of money, or I don't think anyone would have lost a bunch of money. I think for the most part, it's maintaining your positions. And I think this week, especially from what we've seen, it gives you maybe a little bit more of an opportunity to maybe stack some more positions on some items that are remaining as buys. San Andreas says, I'm very engaged in my area down in Metro in Amatar right now. Ugh, Amatar. Chinam asks, do you feel like the trade prices are a problem? Last question. I'm thanks for the information in the marriage rate. No. Trade prices are, no, I mean, trade prices are never a problem, you know, because that's just, you know, where the supply and demand just meets, you know, nothing wrong with that, you know. It's never really, that's never an issue. That's just, I mean, I don't really know why, you know, like when it would be a problem, because it's a product of that whole supply and demand dynamic. We're just playing off of it, you know. Sinadra says, yeah, I know most people prefer anywhere, but I actually started in Amatar. When I first, you know, in 2009, I started in Amatar. I used to mine in the few 0.5 systems that had stations that are mineable in there. Yeah, man. We built, you know, we built battleships and shipped them over to Rents. That's how I got started. Like being a miner and going through the production line and being engaged with, but at the time, you know, like mass production of battleships. By mass production, I mean like, you know, maybe a dozen or so in a week. But considering our size, we were like less than a dozen real people. Dude, that was a lot of mining time. That was a lot of mining time. I'm glad that started off my production and market kind of persona, honestly, being in Avatar, because you really had to know your stuff. Because it's such a, it's a bit of a desolate region, you know. I spend 0% of my time mining. Good for you. Same here now. All right, so carry on. So quick update, guys. 90% of your time mining. Oh my god, I can't do it now, man. I just can't, dude. I can't do it. Now that I've been exposed to the stuff beyond the mining, I can't go back to mining because it's, you know, it's a matter of scale. It's a lot easier to actually not necessarily manipulate, but is this a bad word? But it's a lot easier to influence scale, even as a single person. Me. Alright, so quick update, guys. My corp, Startide Industries, we actually moved alliances. We are no longer in UI Federation Alliance, hence the kind of took out the very nice nameplate that Life Shifter made for me. Sorry, dude. It's gotta be true to the connections, you know. My corp has actually moved. We're still in Legacy Coalition. We moved from UI Federation Alliance, and we're now part of Drone Walkers Alliance. We started there yesterday. we officially have the Alliance sticker yesterday, so that's pretty cool. I'm really looking forward to it. This whole time that I've been, like all of most of this week until the cooldowns for leaving the old Alliance and joining the new one, I was just running Jump Raiders. Literally just running Jump Raiders. Oh, thanks for following, K Jubits, love it. So I started with like 15 or 17 courier contracts to move stuff for folks. I think I'm down to like 8. Ugh. It's like being that guy, the only guy in like your group of friends that has a truck and you're moving. It's one of those things, man. I don't mind. I'm just saying, it just takes time. Sims asks, how is Jump Raider flying? It's super passive. Especially in this world of citadels. As long as you're jumping to safe citadels, it's very difficult to die. It's very difficult to die. It takes a freak accident to die, man. At least that's what I've been seeing. Like, of course, Jump Raiders still die, but a lot of them die like, you know, jumping into places that they don't test to be dockable, or just hanging out tethered, or manually flying them in high sec. I don't know why you would do that for a Jump Raider. That's not its home. It's not meant to do it like it's not meant to exist like that. Just saying. So Alright, so I just want to let you guys know we're actually in a different area right now, so that's actually going to change in the future how we're going to look at contracts and things like that, because that's actually one of the things I wanted to go over today, because I said I would do it from last week. Alright, so what's the best way to do this? I can't really show the fits per se, but I can talk about what it is exactly. Alright, so for our next section right here, what we're going to do is go over some Doctrine fits. Doctrine fits, and compare the pricing between Jita as a buy all, so not by orders, but when you pull up the fit, you click buy all. All right, and how much it is to get it as a fully fitted Doctrine contract. For the purpose of this example, we're gonna check in DY tag P76. That's our staging for Coalition. I'm gonna put that. Just gonna type it out so everyone's tracking. Alright, so the first thing we're going to look at is a Coalition Ferox. So this is the all tech. These are all tech 2s, right? I'm not looking at the meta stuff, although they are available. I'm not concerned with that. For the purpose of having a standardized look, we're going to look at just the tech 2 fits. So a Coalition Ferox in DY, the cheapest I saw was 70 mil, although the price range from 70 to about 100, 110. There's such a pretty large disparity in price. Not really sure what's going on there. I did fail to look at the time that's left on the contract, so that may have something to do with it. So at DY, Coalition Ferox, you can capture it for 70 million. Jita buy up 87. Ugh. So I can get a Coalition Ferox cheaper in DY versus doing a buy all in Jita. I've actually seen this a lot. It's a huge difference in the wrong direction too. So I saw this like in DY's in Immensi. In pockets where there is not a large presence, you see some really wonky pricing. And a lot of times it's people don't do their math, or they captured it. They genuinely, got this item put together for cheaper than 70 mil for some reason, or they mathed it out that way, or they mined their way to it, and I just want to get rid of it, or they're just trying to be nice and sell it really, really, really cheap. But with that being said, depending on how many units they can sell these fitted contracts for right around 70 mil, that's gonna, and I mentioned this last week too, that's gonna push away your guys that actually do the hard work of moving stuff around, or do the hard work of implementing a proper production assembly line to actually get this stuff created in a clockwork fashion. So we'll see how this happens. I'm almost certain those 70s and 80 mil contracts in DY are going to disappear pretty quickly, and what you're going to left with is going to be like the mid 90s to the 100, somewhere around there. That's a little bit more realistic, but to be honest, when I ran them as buy alls from Jita, I had to sell them at close to 110 mil just to cover my transport cost. So I'm really not sure how long these guys can sustain selling Doctrines at this basically. I mean, I'm not sure how much it would cost if you were actually able to at least build the hull locally, and then import the rest. But the moment you import, that's a lot to add to the final cost already. Since I feel like many people forget transport costs. Yep, they do, but I always remind them, because I am your transporter, and I'm going to remind you that stuff, it costs money to move things. It costs money to move things. It costs money to move things in volume. So Totally underpriced. Hopefully someone does pick it up because that's a steal. That's an absolute steal. Anything under 100 mil for those Feroxes, unless they were actually built locally, that's bad math. I'm almost certain that's bad math. So, especially with transport cost in mind. All right, the next thing we're gonna go over are the basilisks. I'm gonna type it out so people can kind of see what we're looking at. So micro warp drive Bazzies in DY 399 mil. That's a this is the lowest price contract. Okay, it does go up, you know, but this happens to be the lowest one. G to buy 360. Martoof says always build holes in null and buy mods in Jita is what I do since null minerals are cheaper than Jita buys at the moment. Sure, yeah, that's true. How do you find the math though when you start pricing it out because of the transport costs that you're incurring by importing the mods if you're doing fitted ship contracts? I'm not sure if that's actually like part of your business model or you just do hulls, Martooth. So since as I have found selling in a trade hub is bad for me, up to 3 jumps outside the hub seems to work best for me. I must say I've never done that. I've never done it like that. I've always focused on hubs or at least specialty hubs. Like what we're gonna talk about here in a bit, you know, when we're done here. But yeah, micro warp drive Bazzies in DY 399, G to buy 360. It feels like on a per fitted ship contract unit sense that maybe a transport cost of 30 bill for that much volume seems kind of low. Seems kind of low to me. I think that's barely break even, to be honest. That's probably break even. I don't do business to break even. Like, you shouldn't do business to break even unless you're getting something else, like, you know, feeling good for helping your alliance or something. But break, you know what I mean? Otherwise, it's not going to sustain you like mentally to keep doing it if you're not really getting a reward. You have to get some sort of reward, right? And that seems like break even to me, unless of course some of those elements were produced in null. But it all depends too, you know. Just because you're importing mats doesn't make it that much cheaper because you're still incurring transport cost. Transport is huge, man. Transport is huge. A lot of people ignore it and ignore it at the peril of their wallet. You know, they're like, "Oh, I'm building all this stuff. But why am I not getting rich?" It's because you're not pricing it correctly. Sorry. Marchu says cost of moving mods like 5 mil for 5,000 M3, which is a lot of mods in the hulls I make where I want to sell the mini stadium systems. I guess it depends on how your jump freighter guy works it. At least when we were still in YF, the guys who charged by the M3 weren't that dedicated to it. Because it's kind of, it's like a, you know, because they kind of had to wait for their jump freighter to be full. So at a rate of 5 mil for 5,000 M3, that does sound really, really good. But again, it goes back to whatever the business model your jump freighter happens to be doing, right? If that's what makes sense for them, great. If it makes sense for you to use them, even better. Falcon Vapor says, have you seen the P4 prices drop just before a structure update? I can't say that I've made that correlation, Falcon. I can't say that I have. I may have by accident, by just, you know, doing these reviews as we naturally do them, but I've never made that correlation and never vocalized it. I'm my own jump freighter guy. Okay, good. I mean, if that's how you figured your model can support moving 5,000 M3 for 5 mil, hey, good for you. Good for you, man. That seems a little cheap for me, but hey. But at the same time, I don't move my own gear unless I'm piggybacking off of someone else's courier. So I always move my shit for free. I think that Bazzi's break even. I think that's a break even scenario. I think that's totally break even. All right, last fit we're gonna look at. It's happening now. Okay, let's take a look at Wetware mainframe. Okay, sure. Do that. Take a quick detour, guys, to the Wetware mainframes. You know what? It's I think this is total price action because of its the Wetware mainframe cyclic nature. I don't think this is directly playing off of the Keepstar loss. I don't think so. So yeah, you have to look at, guys, also that, you know, these just because things get destroyed, there isn't this immediate response of I gotta get it from Jita. Like, there's a lot of hoarding that happens in the game, you know. If you were to literally shut off the markets right now and says you can only build with what you have, I'm pretty sure we're sustainable for a bit. Just saying. Yeah, but this is like normal price action, man. This really looks like normal price action. The moving average are about to cross anyway. Even if you were to look at it from 2 days ago, it was about to cross. Something fundamental would have needed to happen in order for it to not cross. So. Good catch though. I mean, that's something to definitely to look into. You know, I just don't think that there's that immediate sense of reaction as far as the markets are concerned, because of the hoarding behavior that we have naturally. Since as I'm still sitting on several billion ISK minerals, I'm still building on. I'm saying, man, I'm still building caps and low sec. Like, it's like, oh, Keepstar died. That's cool. Jim says, how long have you been trading, and is this your main way of income? How long? I've been trading seriously in about, well, because it's always been part of my gameplay as an indie guy. Most people don't think that they trade even though they build, because I don't, you know, because I don't mine to capture materials. I don't naturally farm to capture materials. I use the market to capture materials. So by that statement, I've always been a trader because I'm a lazy farmer and I'm really, really bad at it since I don't have that many accounts. So by virtue of being a dirty 2-account casual, I have to be able to trade. I gotta be able to trade. So I've been doing it for a good while, for a few years. Easily 2010, 2011. Small time, of course, but then of course as you go along, it gets more serious and more serious. Is this my main way of income? Yeah, I build caps, and I trade for my minerals because I don't want to mine, and I build them in low sec, so I definitely got to use the market. Definitely have to use the market. Pyrotest asked, did anything happen with ULAX after downtime? I wasn't there, I couldn't tell you. Keepstar died, that's about it. Since been in manufacturing trade since 2004. Holy crap. That's a long time. It's a long time, dudes. Alright, let's look at our last item here for our fits. It's a Tech 2 Fit Maelstrom. Falcon asked, do you have a manufacturer alt that contracts to you? No, like my builder is also my trader. The character that's on right now, Robro. He's the one that builds in Basgren. With this Maelstrom, considering the M3 involved, I think that's a slight loss. Unless you're building the Maelstrom. Unless you're at least building, if you're at least building the Maelstrom in nullsec, which you totally can, that could be pretty profitable, I guess. But it has to run on that assumption. It can't, like, if you're totally importing this, that's probably a bad idea, because building battleships would be a good way to actually engage your minerals that you mine, right? But I think, yeah, I think it's not that profitable. I don't think so. Like, these price differences, they seem pretty impressive, but once you factor in transport costs, it kind of diminishes, and you know, kind of like our not so experienced producers out there kind of get caught up by those big margins, but you really have to math it out. I always find it kind of frustrating when folks go, oh, I'm just building for fun. I'm just building for fun. But then they get irritated when they don't make money. I thought you were just building for fun, bro. I thought you were just building for fun, man. How come it's not fun right now? Seahorse says, we logged back in after it was relocated. PL and allies never logged back in. Except the blades. Alright, guys. Alright, crazies. Alright, so, hopefully that was a little... I was kind of underwhelmed by that information. I was kind of saddened by that information that... not really... I shouldn't say that, because I think people are really setting up the contracts to be affordable, which is nice. It's just... I'm not sure how sustainable that charity is going to be. Because if the producers are seeing those prices and they're not realizing that those are charity jobs or potentially charity jobs, they might persuade them to do something else instead of building. Yeah. Since there are 3 minerals I usually have to buy, those are Mega, Zide, and Morphine. Definitely Meg and Zydrine. Morphine, I'm not a Tech 2 guy. Not anymore, at least. I'd rather do Tech 3 versus Tech 2 now, for sure. It's just preference. Alright, there's a quick market update, guys. I finished a lift build in Basgarin. I sold it for 1.5 bill. In the same system, I didn't have to move it back to nullsec or anything like that. I built the lift, sold it in Basgarin. After about 4 days, sold it for 1.5. So. I'm still stalking P4. It's like a broadcast nodes, really? It's been a hot minute since I called broadcast nodes. It's a good time to stop. As long as it doesn't turn out like Straunt. For your long-term viewers, you know what Straunt's all about. It's like a meme. It's like our meme, bro. Alright, so we covered our old calls. Let you guys know I'm no longer... Hey, Veronica, what's up, buddy? That Baskin Satillo, man, it's OP. It's pretty OP. It's a good spot. It's a good spot. It's a good spot to sell caps. I was not expecting it to be sold at 1.5. The last time I actually sold a lift in nullsec, I sold the hull. It was just a hull, mind you. I sold the hull for like 1.2. So it's kind of surprised someone bought it for 1.5. So right now I'm doing a Minokawa build. See, of course, that Spike XL is really, really overpriced right now. Let's take a look, man. Let's take a look. I'm curious. Bro, what's daily volume on this? Some days no one even buys them. And the last registered volume of 110k. Yeah, it's gonna spike the price. So if you have Spike XL and you're having to be close to Jita, and the item is close to Jita, you should probably take it there. Insane. That's nuts, man. That's nuts. Somebody take advantage of this. One of you guys take advantage of this, please. Go, 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 go. I can't do it right now. Go, 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 go. Jorga starts invention lines. Dudes. If you were to actually like legit start it right now, Veronica, how long would it take for like a reasonably sized batch? I don't know. I've never done Spike XL, so I don't know. I don't know. Alright, so cover that. Now let's go over some story time, guys. Market story time. Market scam story time. This is a good one. It's a good one because I actually know the participants, which I kind of feel bad about. I'm only gonna name the scammer because that'll probably be the best way to do it. I'm not gonna talk about the guys he took money from or anything like that. I'm sure you guys can figure it out. Everyone goes like that. Night Fox, yeah, bro, Night Fox, man. I feel so bad, but at the same time, I can't feel bad because He didn't do anything wrong, like in a EULA sense. Scamming is allowed. Oh my god, Brock. What's up, buddy? Alright, so let's go with story time, man. So for those of you guys who don't know, I actually it's not my Discord, but I help maintain a Discord for market investments. Shill that right now, actually. It's for gigs. Just for gigs. I love shilling things. That's my Discord. Rodents Investment Group. Never not rig. Should have asked, do you stream every day? No, I can't. There's no way I can do this every day. I'm right around material. So in that Discord, we have our character here, Night Fox. He's been with us since the beginning, actually. I've done at least one successful investment run with him. So yeah, never really thought much about it. Oh, Brock's like, fun fact, Night Fox and Goons. I'm surprised he hasn't. Has he felt the brunt of that yet, or no? Is he still there? So from what I understand, goons aren't supposed to be scamming goons, so I'm not sure how that pans out. So the story is kind of, you know, it's very predictable, but I definitely want to engage you guys in kind of the stuff that happens in the market scene concerning things like that. Prior tense, can I just give you money to turn to more money? That's what I did. And that's actually what I'm going to be going over. So Night Fox approach investors privately through the Discord. You know, you kind of, once you're there, you kind of have this. There's a rapport that's already built in that Discord. The folks who you know are good for wanting to be at least curious to invest money on people. Then you got the guys there who run super solid operations. You know, can turn a profit, but they just need a little bit of a capital. You know, 10 billion here, 15 billion there, 20, 50, something like that. Something that in a community, in a small community like that, you can piece together that amount of money relatively quickly, assuming that they're not already engaged with other activities. So I'm not even sure exactly. Hey Brock, do you know what, was he doing a buyback or was he doing LP? I don't even know. I think it was buyback, wasn't it? But he was doing some sort of operation that he needed some money for. And he got the initial investment to the level that he wanted. I think at the time he had like less than 10 people, something like that. Straight market trading? That sounds suspicious already. Seeding, okay, that makes more sense. Seeding, okay, that makes more sense. Perfect. So he gets the initial investments, pays off first month. Makes the first payment public in the market forums, which is a great thing to do. You have to be transparent. You have to be very open to share your information. That's definitely what I did when I had my own operation. But then some people with big wallets, some of them probably big names. I'm gonna mention names. Just saying. He caught some big fish, man. He caught some big fish with this. I'm so proud. I'm so proud of you, Night Fox. So proud of you. You have learned well. And some big wallets wanted to buy out current investors, just so that they can kind of so that they won't be overwhelmed, so that Night Fox doesn't get overwhelmed. You know, he'll buy out certain investors and pay them out, and maintain some, and then have his shares being worked on by Night Fox himself. Okay. So more shares are opened up, more ISK gets moved, and then a stop in communications by month 2 or 3, right? So super suspicious already. People started getting worried, man. People started getting real worried. Like, hey, this dude has not talked about the investment, even though he did so on month 1 in the public forums. Radio silence. Bad clue number 1. Radio silence. A break from the routine. That's super bad. Super bad. And now, yeah, second month of interest due date rolls around. No payout. Interesting. Okay. Then Night Fox claims that, hey dudes, real life is happening right now. I'm on vacay. Some stuff is happening in real life. I can't really get on stuff. However, he's actually pretty active in Discords, and Zeke Hill is actually kind of active. He's existing. He's dying. He's killing. Interesting. All right. And then Night Fox shows up 20 days past his second due date, claiming that he is taking off the IS. Like, later fools, I got your money. Later fools, I'm done. All right. Once everything is said and done, he walked away with 400 billion ISK. He moonwalked with 400 bill. Yeah, I mean, he made a post about it claiming, hey, later guys, thank you for paying my EVE experience for years to come, which I highly doubt it's gonna last years with just 400 billion. That's just me. And yeah, he claims that it didn't start out as a scam, but when big wallets started buying out the initial investors and putting more money in the pot. God Tear Slam says, was there a decent battle report of a fight from last night? I have not seen one. I've seen several, but I don't know which one's like the best one to actually use as reference. But yeah, man, he walked away with 400 billion. I'm not sure when the last big one was, but 400 billion is kind of big considering we've seen a drought in good market drama. So if you guys are interested in actually seeing the his forum posts, just for giggles, here it is. And you might see some big names in there. But what I really want to go to is can we use this as a learning tool, right? So if you guys actually do investments with people, what should be big signs of stop and think? I think this guy's about to, he's probably now when he's making out himself out to be stop and think. So let's get over that. Let's go over that. Concerning that story specifically and kind of the events that happened there. For a relatively established borrower, he was willing to pay double or triple what everyone else was paying, up to 7% per month on returns. 7% for 7% monthly returns for a few hundred billion of capital. That's a lot. That's a lot. Me personally, when I did, like 100, 120 billion, I was eking out 5%. 5%. Shaq says, so how do you do this station trading? Do you recommend to have all skills 5 or lower broker fees? It depends on how you actually intend to execute your trading. There's many ways to do it. With Citadels, you don't really even need standings anymore, for one. I'm gonna have to actually look at my skills, exactly which ones are worthwhile. But of course, the tax reduction is actually obviously a good one, and the ones concerning range is always a good one. So tax reduction and range, focus on those. The actual number of orders, it depends on what your style is. Like, I'm not a big volume order kind of guy anymore. I do very geographic things. So be very wary of guys of borrowers who feel like they're overreaching a bit. Like, for let's use a round number of 100 billion. If someone who's operating off 100 billion, of course it also has to depend on what the operation is, right? But you kind of have to think about it. All right, if he's getting like really close to 10% off of 100 billion, that's probably not reasonable. That's probably not, that sounds super sketchy. That's probably unreasonable. So don't be afraid to actually engage your borrower. Like, hey, how are you intending to actually pay this back? Engage him. You're giving him his money. Yeah. Ask him. Just ask him flat out. This came out by the same time that his trading started to slow. That's another bad sign right there. You're slowing down because you're about to go on vacation and you're wanting more money. That doesn't sound right. You don't commit to higher paying loans and increase your total ISBAR when you actually are trading less than you were before. If anything, you should be trading more. Yep. And all of these kind of after action report for this Mars scam has actually come from our market Discord. So thank you very much, guys. This one specifically is from I Choose You. Thanks, bud. And number 3, the steps he took were not gradual. It's very sudden. Like, oh, I got money. Oh, I'm gonna ask for more. Oh, I already got the money from that second ask. Later, guys, I'm out. I'm going vacay. It was like all of a sudden he was trying to get hundreds of bids of ISK for no credible reason. Right? So it sucks to see stuff like that happen. That people are taking, you know, getting their money scammed out of their possession. But at the same time, it's not it's within the rules. So what can we do with that? You know. With that being said, I just wanna, you know, I already linked my my market Discord. If you guys are out there wanting to still do stuff like that, like oddly enough, like yeah, things like Night Fox do put a damper on things, but there's enough money, there's enough people that are already engaged in our market Discords that we actually aren't, we're in a pretty good balance right now between people who want to invest money and people who want to do operations and just need money. But if that's something that's interesting to you, yeah, please join us in our Discord and see, man. You're more than welcome to show your projects. You're more than welcome to try to scam us, because we're actually going to test your stuff, man. We're going to test your theories anyway. So yeah, if you're a scammer, come on in and see if you can crack it. Why not? It's not illegal. It's not within. It's within the ULA of the scam. So I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel bad about it at all. Seems like there's a reason I avoid investments. Yeah, but let me counter with this though. Let me counter with this. So how I actually got started with big money was being an uncollateral investment person. So I did market trading in JITA, just the super traditional market trading in JITA. You know, JITA buy sell, and I just asked for money and I paid them out weekly, and you know, and I kept going for almost a year, like 8-9 months, something like that. But one thing that I definitely pride myself in is that I set up my model and I maintained it for those 8-9 months. It was exhausting. It was absolutely exhausting. But if there's anyone out there that actually wants to get into this kind of gameplay, establish your model and be consistent. So whatever it is that you're doing, be consistent. Because the moment you start veering from what has appeared to be routine, people will ask. All right, so establish a model that actually makes sense for you. And just to give you guys an example of what I did for my documentation, I actually created a blog and every week, and it's basically a market report of what I did for the week, what I traded, how much I'd made, and what the payouts were, etc. This is from the neocom.com, and I think this is the last one right here. Of course, this is old, but it's the last one I did. After this, I kind of took a break. Started focusing more on like just working with people. That's my last entry in November of 2016. All right, so yeah, consistency is the most important, man, because and it's a bit like of a sales thing, right? Like, make your customers feel good about the purchase. If you can make them feel good about the purchase, they're gonna come back. Like, I actually ended up working with some kind of big names. Actually, I was kind of surprised they even knew I existed. So, hey, thanks for following. Skull Smoke, appreciate it. Yeah, just be consistent. You don't need to know everything about the game. You just gotta know, and you just have to be knowledgeable on your operation and how that plays into the market. And especially if you go into our group, our market Discord, like, these guys will grill you. They will grill you. They will test your theory. They will test your knowledge. Just be prepared. And it sucks because those guys that actually make it through that gauntlet and just end up scamming people, like, I feel so bad. I feel really, really bad. Hey, thanks for following, Fat Penguin. Appreciate it. But yeah, it's open to everyone. It's a totally public Discord. You're more than welcome to get in there. I think the only person that we've banned so far is Nightbox. Unfortunately, sucks. No, there's another person. There's another person we banned. Another guy. yeah, we kind of just keep it open, you know, because of course there are market forums to kind of peddle your wares, right? But at the same time, this is very very specialized. Like, hey, I got a project. I just need money. Who do I shield this to? These people. Shield it to me. Shield it to these people. All right. Thank you for following, DK Truman. Appreciate it. Since I said, well, I've never tried to scam anyone, but I do try to bring the lowest prices to my market area that I can. Good for you. You are a saint. You are a saint. Well, hopefully that was educational for folks. Gerard has said something. Shoot. Okay, sorry. Gerard says, by the way, after story time, the XL spike you can get from invention to market in probably 12 to 13 hours. That's not bad. Is 13 hours fast enough for this though, you think, Jeronica? I mean, Spike XL, there's literally like 2 entries in there and only 1 for Jita. It should be right. It should be good enough, right? 8 hours inventing, 3 hours building, assuming you have Plutonium XL built already. Assumptions. Extend Insta Jeronica, do it. Shaz, like, I plan to be a gaming girl in Jita local and make about 1 bill every week. Yes. That's legit. Alright guys, so with that being said, we're gonna go and carry on with our picks for the week. Alright. Common picks. Our first one for buys is gonna be Geckos. Oh, hey, no problem, Sin. Alright. 89.93. Looks good. Actually looks really good for a buy. Alright, so great buy signals. Median, a very established bottom right now in the slightly below 900, slightly below 90 million. That's why I made a character a girl. That's why we make all our characters. That's why all our characters are girls. Jeronica, come on now. Great buy signals. Established bottom from the Doctrine. How this pans out history-wise. Sub 90 mil. Sub 90 mil. It does hit it. It bounces back pretty quickly. If you got the money to, Shaq says, oh, Zerat says, do you do PvP? Yeah, I live in faction warfare space. My alt does anyway. Shaq says, can you explain that screen, please? Yeah, sure, no problem. So, so there's various elements to these, to the market window. Everything is basically turned on in this view. Okay. So there's the median day price, which is actually a mean price. Okay, so it's a mean, like the proper average, which is symbolized by the orange circle. Then you got the moving average, the 5-day, which is the blue line. So go back 5 days, and that's your average. Yeah, 5-day moving average. The math keeps adjusting itself as the days go on, right? And then there's the 20-day moving average. Same concept. It just happens to be 20 days long. Okay. So that gives you a sense of sentiment over a 5-day period versus a 20-day period. And then you have the Doctrine channel. The Doctrine channel is that bluish, grayish kind of vertical filled in area. All right, so that's the highest completed. So the highest completed trades for the day. Highest completed and lowest completed trade. That's it. So right now, what makes this call a buy? You have the 5. So a classical buy signal would be if the 5-day moving average, if the lower day, because you can adjust that in, like, if you're using proper stock tools, you can actually change that. But 5 and 20 is actually a pretty common standard interval. If the lower day moving average is under the higher day moving average, that's considered a sentiment to buy because it is considered undervalued. Okay, and it definitely helps as well to support that case when the mean prices fall somewhere pretty close or below the 5-day moving average. So it's a sentiment of low price, low value. Okay, and the Doctrine prices kind of gives you a range of the price ranges for the day. So based on that picture, it's a very classical buy signal for the Geckos right now. And it definitely makes it a lot juicier when it's very rare that the Geckos hit under 90 million. So I would totally buy this right now. So let's look at the prices actually. So right now it's sitting at 89 to 93. wouldn't even bother flipping this. I would just capture this. That's edit. If it's sitting at sub 90, I would just capture it all day. That's honestly what I would do. 4%? Nah, it's not even worth it, bro. Don't even. Yeah, don't even do it. But it'll feel good to capture at sub 90. Yeah. God Tier 7 says, do you think Nestor Spectral Shift Skins is a decent thing to invest? I can't say much about skins because I myself don't actually use the skins, so I would just be BSing if I actually. So you guys gotta catch me on this, right? If I start talking about money and skins, I don't know what I'm talking about because I don't buy skins. You know who actually is a big good person to ask about skins? Is Rain. Chocolate Rain. She knows all about skins. She's super knowledgeable on skins. Or someone who, yeah, I mean, don't be afraid to, you know, if someone is a subject matter expert on skins, but they're not necessarily like a market person, as long as you frame your questions appropriately, I bet you can extract the correct type of information you're looking for. Nick Paul says 5 and 20 only makes sense in a 5-day business week and a 4-week business month. Yeah, it just seems to be like it's definitely a default setting. Anytime I go to an investment website, 5 and 20, I almost always see that as a default. So that's probably why it's done here. Fat Penguin says best explanation of window verb. Hey, thank you very much, Fat Penguin. Appreciate it. Jack says, how do you calculate the percentage? Oh, just one over the other, man. A big number over a little number. They'll give whatever is past the 1. That's, for example, this one. Lowest sell of 93, highest buy of 89. 93 over 89. Answer is 1.04. That's 0.4 is the percent difference. Easy day. You gotta crack 4% though, guys. You gotta crack 4%, especially if you're actually selling in JITA. Even if you're using the low tax citadels, clear 4%. You gotta clear 4%. You gotta. You run the risk of actually price actioning it down below that otherwise. So Gecko's at a buy. I'm not sure when it's gonna bounce back up. It's probably not gonna really bounce back up appropriately until the conflicts in the war kind of settles down, which I don't think it's gonna be for a while based on what we've been seeing, assuming people are willing to engage, of course. Next one's a parity Decrypter for a buy. Okay, so parity Decrypter, this is used for Tech 2 production because this item will get you a better chance of actually getting a Tech 2 BPC. Alright, thank you very much for following. God Tier Slam, appreciate it. It's been a while. A parity Decrypter above 1 mil. That's really high from what the last time I've seen this, man. That's really high. Actually, no, I guess it's not based on the history. Maybe I just been noticing it when it's low. Alright, but we're calling it as a buy. So kind of the same type of technical indicators that we're looking at. Blue line under the orange line, orange dot somewhere near or below the blue line. All right. It looks like you got a solid, you have a solid bottom of 1 mil for the parity Decrypter. Even if it's not readily flippable now, just the fact that you got it at the 90-day bottom, that should make you feel good about it. That should really make you feel good about it, because parity Decrypter is one of the more commonly used decryptors out there to get the Tech 2 BPCs. So yeah, you should feel good about capturing this around 1 mil. Selling it, because you can, if you're a Tech 2 producer, just you can build the Tech 2 BPCs for cheap basically using the parity Decrypter. If the parity Decryptors are priced at the 90-day low, right? So you don't necessarily have to approach this as a buy-sell interaction. It can be a buy, then push it through a production assembly line, and then sell the final product. That's probably a more traditional way of actually looking at it too, and a more because you're going through the assembly line and interacting with producers and farmers and the builders and the guys who haul. You're really running through the gamut of what industry actually is in the game. I think this is a really good call for parity Decryptors. It's an even better call if you actually use this stuff. Super suspicious orange juice. So good. So good. Ferrocene. Oh, since I do use them. Good to go. Do you think 1 mil is a good price for them, Sin? Or is that... I don't know. I use the accelerators. I use the... Me personally, I use the optimized attainment. I did do Tech 2. The lowest you've seen in a long time. Really? It must have been a really oddball day the last time from what a day I'm remembering. Would seeing it at 1 mil compel you to do mass productions of Tech 2 BPCs? It does. Oh, check it out, guys. Just saying. Alright, guys, the next one, guys, polymer material. So it's wormhole stuff, basically. Wormhole moon goo. That's a good way to... not really moon goo because you huff it. Wormhole item... Processed wormhole items that you need to build Tech 3. Okay, Ferrocene. Right now, it's sitting flat, man. It's sitting flat and staying flat at its 90-day low mark. So it's established that this is a good price to be. Anything lower, that kind of doesn't make sense for the way the price action behaves. So if you have money, or better yet, if you're a Tech 3 producer and you're in need of some Ferrocene right now, that might be a good time to buy. Joraka says, are there any guides explaining the different decryptors when to use each? I'm almost certain when I first started getting into Tech 2, I just read through the EVE University wikis. I'll be honest with you, man. You just use parody on everything anyway. Yeah, why not? It's cheap right now. Why not use it, right? Why not use it? Same thing's happening with Ferrocene right now, guys. So the Tech 3 stuff's a little weird because we mentioned last week that the moon materials there's a bit of a delay of how it gets to market in JITA. The Ferrocenes and things like it, the polymer items, are very, very similar behavior because a lot of these things do get built from your medium and above sized wormhole groups. They do produce their own Tech 3s. Like I been member of several groups and created my own groups before. We definitely built Tech 3s because it's actually a good way to compress your materials. So if I think it's a good buy right now. It's sitting flat at 1,500, somewhere around there. If you're okay holding onto this for at least 3 months, I think you can sell this for at least 2K per unit, easily. McDonsky88 says, why are geckos cheap right now? Geckos are cheap right now because no one's buying them because people are engaged in fights. People are too busy fighting right now. That's what I'm thinking. Every time I see big conflicts, Excavator mine drones drop in price because they're in an oversupplied state. And same thing with geckos, they end up being in an oversupplied state. Since this EPU had a very nice Decrypter explanation, I had some links on my own machine which died, but I lost those. I mean, unless... makes sense, right? Perfect. So yeah, the conflicts are a good fundamental analysis indicator as well. News is a fundamental analysis indicator. Just kind of have to get ahead of it though. That's the key. Ferrocene to buy, hold it for 3 months. I think you can resell it for 2.5K. Probably not in volume though, so do be mindful. Alright, so those are our buy calls. Now we're going to go over our sells. First one's going to be Intact Armor Nanobot, the wormhole product right here. The Intact Armor Nanobots is the item that you need to work on to reverse engineer the BPCs. It's an ancient relic. That's a category. Right now it's been steadily climbing, but there's been spikes the last few days. So this spike correlates to this one, and it's also basically opposite of what we've been discussing with the with the buy technical indicator. The sell is just the opposite, you know. So we got for this particular one, for the intact nanobots, you have the 5-day moving average above the 20-day moving average, the mean day price above the 5-day moving average, and the Doctrine price kind of slowly scaling upwards. Donsky says, do you think blood rage or faction mods and ships will increase the price now that goons are deployed? I'm not a good source for speculation because I don't know kind of the social dynamics that happens behind that. You know, I'm really kind of just shooting in the, like, I'm really speculating at that point. Like, I don't even have any solid ground to speculate on. But if you can articulate to yourself how an item would behave in the market based on things like the folks who live there, how the stuff gets moved, is it a conflict area, things like that, dude, pull the trigger and make a speculation. Why not? X3N says, I run 10 out of 10 in Goon Space. Local markets raised about 34%. Alright, thank you very much. That's awesome. Good info. Intact armor bots, I think it's a good time to sell it if you have it. If you actually build Tech 3 and you need intact armor nanobots, like, I wouldn't buy it right now. At least not in high volumes. I'm not sure where this is gonna settle. I'm really not. Although something tells me based on the 9-day history, it's probably not gonna go beyond 15 mil per unit consistently. Like right now, it's already crossed it, but I'm not sure that's sustainable. I don't think so. I think it's gonna sit there for maybe 2-3 days, but then correct to be between 15 and 10 million. All right, our next cell, cesium. You guys own this moon. Y'all need to do something with this. Which one of you guys own this? Which one of you guys own cesium moon? And this is a super delayed reaction too. So I don't know. I imagine you guys have whoever happens to be, you know, farming this in an intelligent manner. I would say there's a large cache of it already, and this is absolute surplus. Because I have not gotten to moon stuff yet. If you have it, sell it. Assuming you're not intending to produce with it, sell it. Sell it. Why not? If it's just literally just sitting in your low sec staging anyway, just ready to be moved, why not sell it now? I'm not sure how long this upward price movement will last. It's super manic right now based on the large spikes in volume. But yeah, I'm not sure how long this is gonna last, man. I'm not sure if the correction is gonna be just as forceful as the price increase. It may. It's hard to tell right now. It really is hard to tell right now. But if you're sitting on cesium and you don't intend to build with it, go sell it. Why not? Why not sell it? It's a 90-day high. Why not sell it? All right, and our last call for a sell is hafnium. I don't think it's as aggressive as cesium, but nah, it's a little more tapered. Okay, great. Same thing. It tried to correct here, but the people didn't want it to correct, and they just push it forward. So it's I'm not sure if it's gonna survive one more price cycle. If anything, I'll tell you there's two potential possibilities. I don't think it's gonna correct downward. Something tells me it's not gonna correct downward, even with this low volume. I don't think so. I think these are mostly people like capturing hafnium from sell orders. I think that's what's happening. I'm not sure if there is still that kind of demand. I'm not a Tech 2 builder, so I'm not really sure how this plays into particular builds right now. I honestly can't tell you. I would have to look it up. It's not instant knowledge for me. But something tells me that I don't think this is going to correct downward. I think the correction that this will take is going sideways, just based on the sustained price action with static volume. So that's my hypothesis. We'll see how it goes though. So yeah, if you have hafnium and you're sitting on it, would you sell it now? I would explore the option of building first before selling blue materials personally. Just that, like, dude, like when we were in YF still, a lot of times it's just not possible. It was not possible. Too busy, and they just weren't coordinated. Since you haven't been done moon stuff yet, the one thing that I would say, please take into consideration kind of the social dynamics of your group, like who controls what, how do they feel about these assets, you know, do they treat them with respect, you know, or do they not even know what to do with them, you know. Educate them and profit as a group, man. I'm just saying, bro. Just saying. If I would build with this first. I would organizationally build with this first if I ever sell on raw moon materials. Like, it doesn't make sense to ship this stuff to Cheetah. It really, really doesn't. The fact that this stuff comes here in volume really speaks of the surplus that exists in Nullsec, and that's a ridiculous amount of surplus. Ridiculous. If I'm kind of just spitballing in my own head here. Since any moon I dealt with was out of need when making Tech 2. Yeah, it's different. It's different when you're a builder as well. You know, I guess you have different priorities. All right, well, that's really all I got, guys. We went to a bit of story time, talked about investments. I showed for my group, and I think we have a one chill time event for Brock for next week. So, hey guys, if there's anything, if you have a project that you want me to discuss over here in the show, hey, hit me up, shoot me a message, shoot me a message in Discord, shoot me a message in game, because we do have a dedicated like chill time segment. Just saying, because if there's nobody that's chilling, then I'll chill for me, you know. Expectations for next week. I want to start looking at faction ships again, especially with this kind of very kinetic environment. I really want to look at faction ships. I really want to look at stuff for abyssal items, the Triglavian stuff. I think we've given it enough time to kind of percolate to at least start looking. Ideally, you really want to look at stuff like, especially new stuff. You have to give it at least, I think you really need to give it at least one full quarter, one full 3-month period. I'm not sure if we're quite there yet. I don't think so. We're close, but we can look at the elements that make up the whole Triglavian scene, right? Not just the Triglavian stuff itself, but the ships that are popularly used to actually, you know, that are used to do that content. All right. Besides that, guys, I don't think there's going to be much value in looking at Doctrine stuff. I think they're going to continue to kind of, I think they've reached their equilibrium. I want to talk about my new area for sure. I want to kind of discuss comparisons between where we were as a corporation, where we are, as a kind of a segue to corp recruitment potentially. You know, because we did lose some people. Not gonna lie, we did lose. Every time you swap alliances, you're gonna lose some people, right? And sometimes you lose really good people, you know, unfortunately. But hey, thank you very much for our drone walkers for letting us in. Really appreciate it. ULI Federation, good luck to you. Hopefully you guys do well out there in Immensity. But outside of that, I really got nothing else. Thank you very much, guys, for being here. And sounds like we had some really good discussions here. So let's keep it up, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you very much. There, guys.